So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to know to go from $0 to $100,000 a year self-publishing on Amazon. Hey everybody, it's Emeka here from my Self-Publishing Blueprint, and in today's video, I'm going to break down the steps, like about 6 or 7 steps to break down for you and talk about exactly what you need to do to build a 6-figure a year, $100,000 a year self-publishing business on Amazon's KDP Kindle Direct Publishing platform. These are going to be the same type of steps that I've been using over the last few years. It's the same things that I teach my students inside my Self-Publishing Blueprints program. And I want to take a moment here and spend some time. I got my pen and paper and talk about every single step, go into a little bit more detail than I have in previous videos, and show you exactly what you need to do for yourself if you're looking at building an online income stream using Amazon's self-publishing platform, KDP. So first off, let's just talk about Amazon and what makes it such a great platform to use. Amazon is a phenomenal business, and it's a phenomenal platform that allows anybody anywhere in the world to publish books on their platform called KDP. It's Kindle Direct Publishing. And that allows you to upload a manuscript, upload a cover at no cost, get it onto Amazon's platform, and then market it using different techniques that I will talk about later today. And it allows the millions and millions of customers who go on Amazon every single day to find your book, read it, purchase it, read it, and then Amazon then sends you a royalty that goes straight into your bank account. And this is something, like I said, it doesn't matter where you are. I've worked with students from all over the world. I've seen people from all different countries become successful with Amazon's publishing platform. And it's just a phenomenal thing. Especially, I filmed this right now. It's end of October here, approaching Halloween in the dreaded year 2020. And you know, this is one of those things that, unfortunately, a lot of chaos and uncertainty in the world has been happening over the last little bit. Amazon's publishing platform for us self-publishers and authors, their income has remained steady because people continue to read, people continue to want to consume information from different formats. Of course, there are their ups and downs like everything else, but nobody's out of work because people just stop consuming their information or something like that. So this does bring you a lot of stability. I'll take $100,000 a year, doing something like this on Amazon over $100,000 a year 9-to-5 job where I can get fired from any day for things that are just not in my control, so to speak. So I want to go through the different points here. And we'll talk about every single one and kind of go into a bit more detail. And yeah, let's get started. All right, so obviously we'll start with step number 1. And step number 1, it's kind of the obvious step. Find a topic. Find a topic, find a niche. You might also call it niche. This is simply, what's your book going to be about? What genre is your book going to fall into place here? Is it going to be a book about motherhood? Is it going to be a book about babies? Is it going to be a book about weather? Is it going to be a book about computers or dog training or whatever the case is? What do you want your book to be about? Now, there's a couple things that a couple criteria that I look for when I'm, looking at exploring a new niche myself, or more specifically, when I'm teaching students how to find something for the long term. There's a couple things that I always suggest that they take into account, and the first one is interest. Do you have some sort of interest in it? And the reason this is a big one is because this is going to be something you're going to be putting a lot of time and money into, right? This is not something you're just going to kind of play with on the side here or whatever the case is. if you're serious about building a real business around this, you're going to want to have some sort of interest into it. Now, does it mean that you have to know everything about it, or be extremely passionate about it, or something like that? Absolutely not. If you are, that's a big plus. But you just have to have some sort of interest in it. That's all. Gardening, for example. I do not have green thumbs. I do not know the first thing about gardening. I wouldn't even know where to start except for find dirt. However, I have an interest in gardening. I think it's something I would like to get into at some point down the road. We've talked with my wife. We'd like to turn the back into a bit of a garden and have our herbs and everything going on there. But I don't know anything about it. But that could be a niche that I might want to pursue because I do have some sort of interest in it. So as I'm learning and doing the research for my writers, which we'll get into in a second, I am going to have some sort of interest in it. And that just makes everything more enjoyable. And the key thing is, if it's more enjoyable, there's a chance you're just going to put more effort into it, which, when you face roadblocks, when you face some challenges, ups and downs, it just makes life a lot easier to deal with. Then you want to determine if it's going to be profitable. Now, most niches on Amazon are profitable. There's very, very few that you cannot make any money in. Some niches, like health and fitness, are a lot larger. They have a lot higher demand. So they're going to be a lot more profitable than some of the other smaller niches. Gardening might be a good example of maybe a slightly smaller niche. So you just want to determine, is this niche going to be something that's going to be profitable? And one of the things that ties into profitability is the keywords. So the keywords or search term is simply the word that customers are using to when they type in and when they're looking for that particular book on that topic. So it might be, how to start my own vegetable garden at home. That might be the long tail search term, for example, long tail keyword, or vegetable garden at home, or vegetable gardening. Those would be possible search terms, possible keywords that I would look at to determine, hey, are people searching for these? Is the BSR, the best-selling rank? Is the average on the first page under 100, under 125,000? If it is, that's looking pretty good. It might be something to keep pursuing. You're also going to look at competition. So competition mainly means, are you staying away from any people who have massive authorities in that niche? I'm not too worried about, competing with other self-publishers or anything like that. But, if you're going to do a book about budgeting, for example, and you want to market to the masses, you cannot compete with somebody like Dave Ramsey. You have to find something that's going to be more specific, that's going to have a smaller niche or a smaller area to focus on, because really you only need 1% of the market to build a $100,000 business. So I would only really need 1% of the gardening market, to build a six-figure business around it. I don't need everything. I don't have to be the biggest and most popular person with gardening in order to have a very, very profitable business. I just need 1% of that market. Something else I do take a look at, this is not by any means a necessity, but it is for those of you who are more long-term thinkers. So that's the back-end potential. Is there back-end potential? So what I mean by back-end potential is the book sales are the front sales. So when people go to Amazon, they'll buy your book, Amazon pays you. Those are what we call front-end sales. Back-end sales are, so Amazon's customers bought the book, Amazon's now paid you, you've created some sort of lead magnet to capture that customer's info, and now you can build a relationship and sell some sort of other product to them and make money on the back end. And what's cool about this is the money in the back end is oftentimes 10 times, 20 times larger than the money you'll make on the front end. You can sell more expensive products because you've now built a relationship with that customer. I've had one student, he was selling a $147 product to customers who were buying his books. And while he was only making about $15,000 on the back end, or on the front end rather, he was making upwards of, it was around $60,000. I'll put a link to the video I did with him, the interview I did with him on the back end. So the backend potential is just massive. And the final thing I look at, is it unique? Am I able to attack this angle or attack this topic at a different angle than everyone else has done already, right? So gardening, just thinking off the top of my head, I haven't looked into any gardening books or anything, but I might just try to tackle that a different way, right? Like, I don't, right now I just think gardening for men, maybe there's an angle there, right? That might be too small of a niche, right? Men do garden. Just, I'm guessing it's a bit small. Actually, no, maybe it's not. I don't know. That's why you have to do the research. You got to find these things out. But tackling it at a completely different angle than what's already been tackled. It comes to mind is this cookbook. Everybody has lots of cookbooks. And then there was this cookbook, and the author just had a whole bunch of swearing in the cookbook. And I can't remember the name of the title of it. If you know the book I'm talking about, let me know in the comments here. I can't think of the title, but he just has a whole bunch of, it was like one of the F-bombs on the front cover. But that's a very unique angle to attack a very popular, very saturated niche. And that worked well for him. That's how he built his success. And the book's done very, very well. And so can you make it unique? Is there something that everyone else is doing that you could do a bit different to make your books stand out? This is one that I think is overlooked by a lot of publishers and a lot of authors. So number 2 is research. So it's just researching your customer. Now this is one of the most important steps. This is actually going to take you probably some of the longest amount of time to complete, because you need to find out everything you can about who your market is, who your customer is, what problems do they have, what problems do they want solved first, what type of solutions are they actually looking for. A lot of times I see publishers, they'll jump in there and they don't fully grasp they don't grasp who their customer is, right? So they think, well, okay, I kind of know a little bit about this, so they want to solve this problem, but that's not actually it, right? You have to understand, what language do they use? What language do your customers speak? What type of we go back to the gardening example. Are there slang words or specific words that they use for certain things? I call it dirt, but maybe the proper, more specific term is topsoil or something along those lines. So if I go in there and I'm talking about dirt this, dirt that, dirt this, and somebody with way more experience than me is reading my book and he's like, why is he talking about dirt? Dirt, what type of dirt though? Is it topsoil? Is it whatever? That goes to show me I don't understand who my customer is. So that's going to lead to negative review. That's going to lead to not making any additional sales. And it's just, it's a disconnect from, you and who you're trying to help. So where do you find research? Well, you can use Facebook groups, diving into Facebook groups, and communicating and talking to the actual customers in there, the people who are in your niche that you want to get into. YouTube videos, YouTube comments, Instagram, Pinterest, all social media really. Forums is another great place where if you want to go and connect with your customers, with your readers, go and find out where are they hanging out, and get to know them. Now, number 3 is creating your book. Creating your book, and I'll put cover as well. Now, for those of you who are going to be writing your own book, great, awesome, power to you. Pretty straightforward there. You just continue on writing. You'll probably hire an editor, proofreader, and all of that afterwards. For those of you like myself, you just wish to publish the books. You don't really care to write the books. That's totally cool as well. That's the method I do prefer, and it's the method I do teach. To create your book, I want you to remember this, okay? And really throughout this entire process, you need to remember, especially with number 2, it's garbage in, garbage out. Garbage in, garbage out. If you slack on the research, if you slack on, getting a crappy book written because you didn't do a proper outline, I'll put outline. That's a massive one for research. You don't do a good outline. You get a really bad cover. You don't get a couple different versions and test them out with your audience. And you don't do any of that, and you kind of get a garbage book or a book it's good enough. Well, your royalties are going to be just good enough, if that. You need to put the effort in to get the absolute best possible book you can. High quality books, 30,000 words or more. Spend a decent amount. It's not really the $5 covers anymore. It's spending $60, $70, getting 3 awesome covers to compare the artwork with, and it's that's why books are costing now $1,200 to $1,500 to get done, because publishers have realized, and the market has demanded this, that they just want higher quality books. They want books that are really in depth, that understands the customer's problems. But that all comes from doing this process and spending a ton of time understanding who your customer is, and putting in the effort for a great outline, because the great outline is going to get you a great book, but a crappy outline is going to get you a crappy book. And this is one area that I think there's a big disconnect with self-publishers, is they just don't want to put the time and effort into an outline. An outline, and I'll admit it, my outlines used to be a page, maybe a paragraph or 2. Right now, they're multiple pages long, full of detail. Every single chapter has points in it. Chapter 1, I want talked about this point, this point, this point, and this point. Right? And then you're going to lead into chapter 2 by talking about this, and then chapter 2 is all about this, and I want you to hammer on these points. So I'm actually creating the entire book, so to say, I create the entire book for my writer, and then they go and do all the research based on what I said. Go research all of this information and create a book for me. That's what this whole process, maybe this should even be down here. That's what that whole process is now. Now, there's a couple different spots that you can use. My go-to is still Urban Writers. Urban Writers, I'll have a link down in the description. You can use promo code MySPB, my self-publishing blueprint. But Urban Writers is by far providing the absolute best ghostwriting content, and they have a ton of other stuff going on their site as well. They've just done a massive overhaul. But if you want a high quality book written, you want an absolutely stunning cover, go check out urbanwriters.com. You can go see them. They are not cheap by any means. They are not one of the cheaper ones by any means, but they produce quality every single time. And so that's one of the things that I love working with them. And especially one of their new things is you get to work with your actual writer one-on-one. So you work with them and they really work to make sure that you're getting the absolute correct book that you want, which is absolutely key. Okay, number 4 is lead magnet and email. So your book is going to take you a couple weeks to get written. So what do you do in that time? Well, you start creating your lead magnets and you start putting together your emails. So this is essential if you want to build a real business. Because remember, when somebody buys something off Amazon, they're not your customer, they're now Amazon's customer. So you want to do something to entice them to connect with you so you can continue nurturing the relationship with them so they can continue to purchase things from you in the future, leave reviews and all of that. So your lead magnet is really simple. This is something that's either going to speed up or help them get better results on the topic that they just purchased the book with. So it could be a checklist. It could be an additional chapter that they need to complete. It could be whatever the case is. But ideally, it's something to help them get better or faster results on the topic that they're interested in. So if you have multiple books, should you have multiple different lead magnets? Yes, you should have a lead magnet for each specific book that you have. That's key. And then your email system, we won't go into a ton of detail. I've done some other videos on that. But yeah, you need a proper email system, a proper email manager to use. You build your landing pages, your squeeze pages, and then of course your email sequence that you have to set up to send out. And then on top of that, your advanced review team or your ARC team, for future books to get future reviews. But my favorite method for getting reviews, we're going to talk about that in a second, but this is my favorite method to getting reviews. It's from my email list. I absolutely love it. So, but you have to build that up first in order to make that work. So number 5 is book launch. So this is launching your book now. So a couple different things that you're going to do is, one, you're going to want to make sure you get reviews. So the couple different places you can get reviews. Booksprout is a great place to get reviews when you're brand new. You can also use Puppy is another great place to get reviews. And I'll have the links to these. I did a whole video on getting reviews that you can check out in the cards or in the description on how to get reviews when you don't have an email list, so to speak. So you can check that out. But you want to get reviews right away, because reviews, remember, they are social proof. They are social proof that, hey, people are reading this book, and that in turn starts the flywheel effect that allows you to keep going, getting more sales, moving up the rank, getting more reviews, and going from there. But the biggest caveat, and this is the one reason, if you're not getting reviews for your current book, this is what I have found with most students across the board, it runs into the exact same thing. If you're not getting reviews for your current books, it's one, your book is either no good, and don't tell me it's good, okay? Give it to the audience member, and you're one of your readers. If they're telling you it's good, they should leave a review. But if they're like, oh yeah, it's a good book, well, they're lying to you. The book didn't move them emotionally. People leave reviews for your book when it moves them emotionally, either negatively or positively. So if your book is actually good, it needs to move them on an emotional level to Amazon to write a review for it, negatively or positively, right? You don't want a mediocre book. People don't leave reviews for mediocre books. Or the second reason is you're not asking for reviews. You're not building a connection with them in the beginning. You're not building a connection with them at the end of the book to leave reviews. So you're not asking. And, thou shalt, or what's the phrase? He who gets what they ask for, I don't know. I just made that up. Asking you shall receive. That's what it is. Asking you shall receive. All right, moving on. Book launch, get sales. Get sales. Get sales no matter what you have to do. I always bought the first copy of my book. Every single book I'd launch, I'd buy the first copy. As soon as it goes live on Amazon, log into my Amazon account, boom, buy a copy of my book. That is not against Amazon's rules by any means. You can't leave a review for your own book. That's against their terms of service. But get that first book going. If you're not buying the first copy of your book, what are you doing? Well, why would anyone else buy it? Right? One, I bought it so I could download it. I could look at it, make sure it was formatted correctly on the Kindle device, and all of that jazz. See if there's any mistakes. You know how many times I find mistakes after I've purchased the book? I look at it and I'm like, oh no, I have to fix this. You go and you fix it before all the big sales start coming in, right? So go and buy your damn book. Two, go start telling people about it. This is where you got to go. And we'll get into number 6 here. Marketing. Sales is marketing. I love it when people say, hey, how do you market your book? It's like, well, what's marketing mean to you? So I was at Staples today and I saw a question that said, I need help marketing my small business. I was on a poster. I was like, if that's the type of question you're asking, you might be in the wrong business, because that's the wrong type of question. Your question isn't how do I market my book, because most publishers, they don't fully understand what that means. But marketing is just generating more sales. So where can you go and market your book? Well, first, let's say, who's your customer? Who are you trying to market to? Where are they hanging out? In what places are they hanging out? Well, one, we know they hang out on Amazon, right? Amazon's a given, right? Amazon's a given. They're hanging out on Amazon. Are they hanging out on Facebook? Are your customers hanging out on Facebook? Are there groups, a significant amount of groups on Facebook for your topic? If there are, well, get in there, right? Squeeze your way in there. Don't get in there and start spamming them. Get in there and start building relationship with them, right? Other social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, all of those, right? Find out where your customers hanging out and go connect with them, right? Amazon ads, Amazon ads. Everybody should be using Amazon ads. They're dirt cheap. They're easy to understand. There's a learning curve for them in the beginning. You have to keep monitoring them so you don't burn through cash. But Amazon ads are a phenomenal way to keep boosting your book's visibility, right? You also have countdown deals. Countdown deals are a phenomenal way to either bring back books who are not selling or to increase sales of hot books, because Amazon puts that on sales. They put a little timer next to it. It looks all fancy and customers buy it. So countdown deals. I love countdown deals. So those are great additional resources. You don't have to do your first $100,000 on Amazon. You don't have to do Facebook ads. You don't have to worry about anything overly complicated. You can use what Amazon gives you, and that will be sufficient to make a 6-figure a year business. I've done it. Students have done it. Like, you don't have to get overly complicated with this business. And that's a great thing about it. And I think that's why so many people are realizing that, hey, self-publishing on Amazon is a phenomenal thing to start. Not just now, but, yeah. So, yeah. Anyways, those are my 6 tips. Hopefully that helped. Let me know in the comments what you are struggling with right now. And I'd love to kind of break it down, do another video for you. There is a special discount right now going on with my self-publishing blueprint. So you can check out that if you're looking at getting a more in-depth, step-by-step, one-on-one approach with this. I'd love to work with you. And yeah, that'd be super exciting for, for both of us here. So until next time, everybody, I'm Emeka. If you like this video, I put out a new one almost every single week. Please like, comment, and subscribe if you're new. Till next time, everyone. Speak to y'all soon.